Democracy Day 2025 has come and gone, but the reasons for its establishment remains. Its hopes and dreams, values and ideals as expressed by those in the public eye and citizens alike. That's our focus on Special Report.
It begins with two significant dates in Nigeria, May the 29th and June the 12th. The former, Democracy Day, when Chief Olusegun Obasanjo was sworn in newly elected President of Nigeria in 1999.
That I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
to
the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
So help me God.
Gave way to the latter, Democracy Day, June the 12th, when Chief Moshood Abiola won the presidential election, now marked in Nigeria as Democracy Day from 2018.
Assuming there was good faith on the part of government, all matters relating to the election should have gone to the tribunal set up by law for such cases, and should only have been initiated by persons or bodies that had genuine interest in the election. Instead, we are being told that the judiciary behaved so badly that I, Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, should be penalized for his conduct. It is incredible. In view of all this, I find the conclusion unfortunate but inescapable that the federal military government is guilty of bad faith, pure and simple. No one has accused me of any offense against any known electoral law or regulation. The people of this country went to polls on Saturday, June 12, 1993, and without let or hindrance chose me as their president. Didn't they? They did.
Fast forward to 2025, and President Bola Tinubu delivers his Democracy Day speech before the National Assembly.
Since 1999, democracy has risen from the ashes and destitution of military rule to take its original rightful place as the only mode of governance of resilient and beloved people. With every footstep I took through this hallowed hall, up to the moment I now stand before you, I remember that we still have so much and a lot for that to go. To achieve this progress, we sought an elective office to lead this nation forward. Thus, I hereby affirm before you, our merciful and almighty God, and all men, and resolve to do all that I could do to safeguard and build our democracy as the divine hand intends for us to do. Since 2018, we have celebrated Democracy Day on this day to commemorate the sacrifices of the men and women who fought to restore democratic governance to Nigeria. Let me pay tribute to my predecessor, former President Muhammadu Buhari, for reaching back into history to rectify a national misdeed by making June 12 Democracy Day, and by officially acknowledging Chief MKO Abiola and his running mate Babagana Kingibe as the victors and the duly elected president and vice president, respectively, of Nigeria after June 12, 1993 election. year by year, election after election, every time we debate instead of battle, we discuss instead of fight, and argue instead of destroy. We preserve the institution of democracy. More importantly, we weave the culture of democracy into very fabric of our nation. We thank God for this. Whilst Chief M.K. Abiola is June 12th central figure, we must not forget the long list of those who equally deserve to be called heroes of democracy. We must celebrate the courage of Alhaja Kudirat Abiola and Pa Arfe Rewani, both of whom were murdered by agents of military repression. We also remember the many civil rights activists, journalists, and politicians imprisoned, exiled, tossed aside, tortured, and beaten by the military regime. We remember Chief Anthony Enoro, Commodore Dan Suleiman, Chief Abraham Adesanya, Ayo Adebanjo, Chief Gani Fawehinmi, Balarabe Musa, Ganiu Daudu, the journalist Baguda Kato, and Commodore Ndibusi Kanu. I mention these names not to exclude or degrade the profound contribution of anyone else, but to illustrate through these few heroes the universality of our pursuit of democracy. The struggle was never the province of any one group or section of the country. It was pan-Nigeria in its conception, and it will even be more pan-Nigeria as we strive to perfect it.
Other gatherings were held on the day, including the platform led by Pastor Kwojo Yemade of Covenant Nation Church, who directed minds to democratic values, the private sector contributing to the public.
Some have said that democracy in itself sits on the palm of this. Freedom of speech is otherwise known as the freedom of non-violent expression of speech, where one's words can present ideas that are revolutionary or reformative, but within the legal framework and non-injurious to anyone. That is, ideas that will bring dramatic change in society, and those words and those ideas will be presented within the legal framework of society, but at the same time, they will bring change and drive change, and they will be non-injurious to anyone. The free exchange of ideas is essential, and many people don't understand the importance of this. So they will ask and say sometimes to me that why do you hold conferences like this? That it is just action that we need. But some of these actions, if they are not founded on sound and proper ideas, they will lead to more damage within the society, where people just play to the gallery and there's no real reformation or change. So the free exchange of ideas is essential for a functioning democratic system. In a democracy where power ideally is derived from the people, the freedom of speech and a right to associate ensure open discourse, allowing citizens to debate policies. Free speech allows for an exchange of ideas. And as ideas intersect and meet and interact, through that, the best ideas emerge. It is a lack of understanding of the science of public discourse and embracing those who may even have a different opinion from yours understanding that no one has a monopoly on wisdom that causes some to express hostility to people who express different ideas from them and try to restrict personal liberty expressed through the freedom of association. Provided the ideas are not illegal, immoral, or injurious to other people, democracy mandates they should have a place in the public square. Free speech informs, therefore, public opinion, a prerequisite to meaningful elections and governance. As we therefore gather today on Democracy Day, we do remember today that there are several people in this country who lay down their lives for what we have today. We could start a list, but I don't want to go into that, of many who gave up their freedom, many who gave up their businesses, that you might speak freely, that you might tweet freely, that you might pass comments freely, who gave up their own personal freedom, their own businesses, their own family, and some gave up their own lives.
A former president of Mauritius, Dr. Amina Gurib Fakim, points out the invaluable asset of education to Africa's burgeoning democracies.
From one democracy to another, from Mauritius to Nigeria, with all the love and all the friendship and all the brotherhood and sisterhood. Have a great day today. After listening to our convener this morning, I am also of the opinion that education remains the biggest transformation that this continent needs, and through education, we can really bring the transformation that this country and this continent really deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with a clear-eyed acknowledgement of our challenges. Our dear continent is home to almost 17% of global population, but we only produce around about 3% of global GDP, and yet we carry 25% of the global disease burden, and Africa accounts for just 2% of world research output, 1.3% of research spending, and 0.1% of world patents. This may be perceived as weaknesses, but our strengths are many and profound. Today, 60% of the population of the continent is aged 24 or younger. According to the World Economic Forum, by 2034, Africa will be home to the world's largest population of working-age adults. While this is a demographic boon with profound potential, we can be sure that without sound and forward policies that derive the strength from science, technology, and innovation, it can become a bane. Therefore, our collective task, ladies and gentlemen, is to shape the future so that the benefits of balanced development reach each and every African. Our path forward must decrease our reliance on natural resources and our passive reliance on international aid, which is of course history by now, and decidedly channel national capacities and energy into building a strong, sustainable, innovation-based, Africa-centric economy for current and future generations.
Nigeria, on this special Democracy Day.
Governor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State, another speaker on the platform, spoke on the need for unity.
For sure, there is a lot that is wrong with our leadership. But leadership often reflects the larger society, its values, ethics, culture, beliefs, and expectations. Leaders are products of the society, and you can't give what you don't have. Most Nigerians are, through acts of omission and commission, complicit in what ails Nigeria. We must solve it together through mass involvement and intentional social reengineering. We must deliberately create a critical mass of new Nigerians, unquote, who believe in her and are ready, if necessary, to die for her. The struggle for liberation from colonialism would not have been possible without the nationalists of the time. And the current struggle to liberate her from underdevelopment cannot be sustainable without what I call the neo-nationalists of today. No nation has prospered sustainably without the critical mass of patriotic, vigilant, and actively participatory citizenry. So, let the neo-nationalists ready to die for Nigeria raise their hands. I'm looking around. Aha. Predictably, very few. Predictably, very few. Those who are the neo-nationalists. You cannot have a nation without nationalists. Okay? So very few. And this is quite telling. So how do we raise the army of Nigerian champions to create the future we desire then? If there are very few that are willing to step out and be the ones who want to die for the country. The answer is long, but the shortest answer is to give the citizens stakes in the society by investing in their future. Examples like, current examples, what the federal government is doing, the NIL Fund, the student loan scheme by the federal government, which was also, I think, the case in Lagos here and Kaduna states, the cash transfer schemes. In Anambra, we have the 1U2 Skills program, creating thousands of our youth millionaires, a free primary and secondary education, and soon to disburse bursary program to our students in higher institutions. All these excite youths and students and could hopefully create stakeholders in the Futures project.
The day also saw protesters from Lagos to Ibadan and Akure who took a different view to the assessment of the current administration, complaining of the state of the nation.
We are here again to demand for good governance like we have been doing. Demand for reversal on subsidy removal. Demand for electricity. Demand for quality education. Demand for food. An end to starvation, an end to hunger, an end to suffering in Nigeria.
Solidarity forever. We shall always fight our rights.
What we're marching out today, not even because of the security, the corruption, the nepotism, a lot of things that's going on in the country right now. That's why we are coming out to register this layer to the government that we are tired. You know, student loan, all subsidy, for infrastructure, everything that we are like the encompasses. So that's why we are here registered below the government. We are tired of this thing.
But there were counter demonstrations, some wearing the national colors, who chose to be optimistic and gave the reason for being so.
Up till last regime, 24 states were owing salaries at a time. Not one state in Nigeria today is owing salaries. It will keep getting better. I'm not saying we're where we're supposed to be, but it keeps getting better.
Tinubu has done something remarkable to the people of the Niger Delta. Since the inception of the program seen 65 billion naira annually, but the Tinubu and the National Assembly deem it necessary to increase the presidential amnesty program with about an 80% increase from 65 billion to 115 billion naira. So we are happy with the Mr. President.
Yola, the Adamawa state capital with various landmarks, is increasingly a thriving center for trade and commerce, attracting people from within and outside the state for various activities. The 2025 Democracy Day marked a landmark event as the normal day-to-day activities witnessed an upsurge. It was a day to celebrate Democracy Day in Adamawa State, including youth, women groups, and the physically challenged. Security personnel and road safety officers were on ground to ensure orderliness. A resident shares her opinion. Nigerians have a cause to celebrate.
To tell the voters, one, in terms of the security issue, I think the APC government has done its best and is still doing its best concerning security. And in terms of community development, e.g. empowerment programs, the government of the day is doing its best concerning that.
We are confident that the government has taken right steps in the right direction. So we are moving, and although there are challenges, but the president is getting it very well in terms of security, in terms of the economy, and in terms of uniting the nation more than ever before.
The National Vice Chairman, Northeast Zone T, commends members for remaining steadfast in spite of challenges.
So as such, democracy has paid a dividend while a Democrat is ruling. It's because we have programs that are meant to change the fortune of the country. And these programs are beginning to pay dividends. Security has improved. Standard of living also is improving. Prices of food is coming down. We are able to settle some of our debts. And the subsidy regime is no more when people are taking from the poor and giving the rich. So all these policies are policies that in the future, it's going to be a new Nigeria, will of the people, ensuring that the will of the people will prevail. And that is what we are exhibiting. You can see the gale of defection because people are pleased with what we are doing. Though it's a long time that people will now see the effect of most of the policies, but at least people with foresight have seen that these government policies are meant to change the future and the fortunes of this country.
A community leader shares his understanding of his perspective on June 12 as it relates to this dispensation.
The meaning of June 12 is the only day Nigeria voted for Nigeria for the first time in this country. What do I mean by that? June 12 election was not done based on religion, ethnicity, or sectional basis. It was the first time when Abiola, being a Southerner and a Yoruba man, was voted everywhere in this country. So you see, it's a very important day. And today we are celebrating it because one of the actors of June 12, our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is the one on seat now. It means this is the continuation of June 12. And by God's grace, we have voted for him, we have accepted June 12, and we are going to also continue with June 12. And he has not failed the actors of June 12 or the fathers of June 12. He is doing what Abiola was to do for us in this country, and that everybody can see now.
Other Nigerians, however, feel there's nothing to celebrate considering the hardship Nigerians are going through in the past 2 years of the presidency.
There is no security in Nigeria. The cost of living is on the high side. You deceive us with minimum wage and pay an House of Reps over 14 million naira, sir. I want you to do the computation. 14 million naira will be paid to a civil servant after 30-something years. So what are we celebrating? We are in slave trade in the name of democracy in Nigeria. So for me as a Nigerian, there is no basis for celebration. But we still keep hope alive. It will get better.
When is a democracy not a democracy? When it's undemocratic. As simple as that sounds, it can be a struggle to find its purest form, as nations around the world can attest, which is the reason to consolidate on the virtue of Democracy Day. For Special Report, I'm Olumide Macaulay. Thank you for watching.